Camping is supposed to be an escape, a chance to connect with nature, relax under the stars, and breathe in the fresh mountain air. But for some, a trip into the wild turns into an absolute nightmare. From bloodthirsty predators to deadly encounters with nature's wrath, these are the most terrifying camping moments you must see to believe. Strap in. This is when camping goes terribly wrong. In the heart of Washington's Olympic National Park, two campers, Jake and Lisa, set up camp deep in the woods, miles from civilization. It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend getaway, but as the sun dipped below the towering pines, something was watching them. That night, as they sat by the fire, they heard it, a low, menacing growl from the darkness. Lisa grabbed a flashlight, scanning the trees. Then just beyond the reach of the light, two piercing yellow eyes stared back. A mountain lion, silent, calculating, stalking them. They quickly retreated to their tent, zipping it up as though a thin layer of nylon would protect them. The growls faded, replaced by an eerie silence. But then, scratch. Something was clawing at the tent. The campers were freaking out. Jake's fingers closed around the cold steel of his hunting knife, his heart racing as adrenaline surged through him. The sounds of the forest outside the tent were unnervingly quiet, until a deafening thud struck, followed by the harsh scraping of claws against the canvas. A massive shadow surged forward with terrifying speed, slamming into the side of the tent, the fabric buckling under its weight. Lisa's scream shattered the silence, high-pitched and full of pure panic. With no time to think, Jake swung the knife wildly, his eyes wide in the darkness, his breath ragged. He barely registered the form of the creature, a hulking shape with glowing eyes and sharp, bared teeth. The mountain lion let out a bone-chilling screech, a sound that rattled Jake's very bones, before it recoiled and bolted into the night, disappearing into the blackness of the woods. The terror of the encounter had left Jake and Lisa utterly shaken, their nerves frayed and their minds racing. The raw, unrelenting fear still gripped them, but they didn't dare linger in the aftermath of the chaos. After a long, sleepless night, the first light of dawn brought little comfort. As they stepped out of the tent, they were met with not one, but two horrifying sights. First, the deep, jagged claw marks raked across the fabric, evidence of the creature's ferocity in close proximity. The slashes were so brutal, so vicious. It was clear the mountain lion had been mere inches from dragging them into the wilderness. Just when they thought their nightmare was over, a new, even greater terror gripped them. The cougar, still prowling nearby, was watching them. From the shadows, its glowing eyes pierced through the morning mist like a predator in ambush. It was as if the animal had been studying them all along, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Paralyzed by fear, Jake and Lisa didn't speak a word. They scrambled to gather their gear, their hands trembling uncontrollably as they rushed to pack up whatever they could. The once tranquil campsite now felt like a trap, suffocating in its stillness. The heavy weight of dread pressed down on them, knowing the cougar was out there, lurking just beyond the trees, its silent presence surrounding them. Every second felt like a countdown, urging them to escape the unseen danger that could strike at any moment. Fortunately, Jake and Lisa managed to escape the terrifying ordeal, something they never could have anticipated when they first ventured into the woods. Have you ever encountered a wild animal while camping? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might just be the next one we feature. Camping in Glacier National Park is an unforgettable experience. Towering mountains, breathtaking scenery, and the ever-present danger of grizzly bears. Three friends, Ryan, Mark, and Samantha, had set up camp near a quiet, pristine lake. They were careful. They stored their food in bear-proof containers, made noise while hiking, and followed every safety rule. But that didn't stop what came next. Around 2 a.m., Ryan awoke to the sound of heavy breathing. Not human, deep, guttural. He froze. Then, snap. A branch broke just outside their tent. Then came the sound that made his blood run cold. Deep, heavy grunts. The unmistakable sound of a grizzly. The night was still, the air thick with tension, when suddenly the ground trembled beneath them. A massive force crashed into their tent, the fabric tearing with a deafening rip. Samantha's screams sliced through the silence, high-pitched and full of terror, as the tent collapsed around them. Panic surged in Ryan's chest. His heart pounded like a drum, each beat echoing in his ears as his hands trembled uncontrollably. The world seemed to close in on them, the suffocating dark closing tighter with every passing second. Ryan's eyes darted desperately for their only hope of survival, bear spray. His fingers fumbled, slick with sweat, struggling to find the safety cap. Every movement, feeling like it took an eternity. But before he could react, the source of their nightmare revealed itself. With a deafening roar, the bear lunged again, its monstrous weight crashing against the tent as it tore through the fabric like paper. In the dim light, Ryan's eyes locked onto the creature that would be their end if they didn't act fast. A massive grizzly, its dark eyes gleaming with an almost unnatural hunger. Thick, frothy saliva dripped from its gaping mouth, and its claws, longer than any knife, scraped against the shredded tent, leaving deep gouges in the fabric. The beast was right there, only a few feet away, and Ryan could feel its breath, hot and rancid, on his face. His hands trembled uncontrollably as he struggled to rip the safety cap off the bear spray. Panic clouded his thoughts, but his instincts screamed at him to act. Without hesitation, he aimed the canister and unleashed a thick, choking cloud of the pungent spray. The grizzly's furious roar shattered the night, and with a terrifying swipe, its massive claws slashed through the air, striking Ryan with brutal force. Pain exploded in Ryan's side as the claws raked across him, sending him crashing to the ground, his vision blurring. His body felt numb, the world spinning around him as the last vestiges of consciousness slipped away. He could feel the weight of the bear's presence looming over him, the hot breath of the creature brushing against his skin, but his strength was gone. Then with a final bone-rattling growl of fury, the bear recoiled, retreating into the blackness of the night. Its immense form disappeared into the shadows of the woods, leaving behind only the echo of its rage and the smell of fear that hung thick in the air. Ryan lay motionless, barely clinging to consciousness, as the silence that followed seemed almost more terrifying than the attack itself. Mark didn't hesitate for a second, his instincts screaming at him to get out. "Go! Now!" he shouted to Samantha, his grip tight as he yanked her toward the car. But then a horrifying thought struck. What about Ryan? He couldn't walk, not in the condition he was in. Without a moment's pause, Mark and Samantha rushed to Ryan, their fear turning into action. Mark supported Ryan's weight, half carrying him, while Samantha helped guide him along. The urgency of the situation left no room for second thoughts. They didn't stop to grab their gear or their belongings. Everything they had, from the campfire to the food, was left behind in their frantic scramble. Survival had overtaken them. There was no time to think about anything else. They bolted for the car, their hearts pounding in their chests, breath ragged and shallow. Every step was driven by the gut-wrenching knowledge that danger was still lurking, still out there in the darkness. The suffocating weight of terror still clung to them, the fear from those harrowing moments, before lingering in the air like a thick fog. They both knew, with a chilling certainty, that if they had hesitated for even a heartbeat longer, they wouldn't have made it out alive. The next morning, Mark and Samantha returned cautiously to the campsite, their nerves still on edge, only to find it utterly destroyed. The tent lay in tatters, shredded like a paper doll, and their sleeping bags were mangled, torn apart, as if the bear had gone through them with malice. Every sign pointed to the terror they'd narrowly escaped. The place they had hoped would be a peaceful retreat had become a gruesome reminder that in grizzly country, you are never truly safe. The forest, so calm and inviting just hours before, now felt like a looming predator, watching, waiting, ready to strike again. It wasn't just the destruction that haunted them. It was the fact that, despite all their preparations, despite their knowledge of the dangers of the wild, they had come so close to becoming prey. A chilling realization set in. Out there, in the depths of the wilderness, no one is untouchable. If you were ever attacked by a grizzly while camping, would you have the courage to camp again? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The wilderness is beautiful, but it is also unpredictable and unforgiving. These campers thought they were prepared. They followed the rules, and yet danger found them anyway. Would you have survived if you were in their shoes? Let us know in the comments. And if you love heart-pounding real-life horror, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because out here in the wild, anything can happen.